One man's trash is another man's treasure. And in this case for the Miami Dolphins, the treasure, the prize, is John Harbaugh. The Miami Dolphins need to do everything in their power to attack, persuade, and eventually hire John Harbaugh this coaching cycle. Simple as that. Simple as that. There's no this keeping Mike McDaniel possibly for one more year, do what the new GM wants. No. The hottest candidate right now is John Harbaugh, and you throw the whole buffet at him to try to get him down here in Miami. The Miami Dolphins have needed for 25 years a coach like this, a coach that is experienced, that's won a Super Bowl, that's a winning guy and can set a culture. You know, Stephen Ross we're always hearing him that he wants this coach and this coach. Well, this is one of those guys. When I say this coach and that coach, I'm talking about Sean Payton, him illegally approaching Sean Payton, him trying to hire Jim Harbaugh. Now we got John Harbaugh here. He's one of those guys. He's in that group of Super Bowl winning experienced coaches, not one of these young coordinators that are, you know, just not there. Maybe not there. I don't want to say not there because we had Flores. I felt like he could set a culture, but we didn't give him enough time, and we didn't give him. We went on to fancy old Mike McDaniel over here, and he can't do shit. We need to move on from Mike McDaniel. There should not even be. We should not even be talking about moving on from Mike McDaniel. He should be moved on from already. But I don't know what we're doing in that case. I already made a video about that. He should absolutely be fired right now as we speak, but he's not. But hopefully, seeing a candidate like John Harbaugh come available, a name, a top dog coaching candidate come available, gives the Miami Dolphins some purpose to look into actually exploring real new head coaching options. John Harbaugh was one 44-yard field goal away from Tyler Loop of not being fired and having a home playoff game and possibly winning that home playoff game. It's the Texans. Anything can happen. Their defense could slip up. Anything can happen. But now the Steelers had that opportunity. I bet you he wouldn't have been fired if Mark Andrews can catch a 2-yard pass in the end zone against the Bills last season in the playoffs. I bet you he wouldn't be fired if Zay Flowers can stop fumbling the ball. He's a great candidate. He's a candidate that we need. The candidate we, you're talking about, the thing is, after we kept Mike McDaniel, you saw the end of the year press conference, 2 days ago with Mike McDaniel, the excuse was, or what you can say while looking at keeping Mike McDaniel is, there's not that many good head coaching candidates right now. There's not that many hot head coaches, so we might as well wait a year. There ain't no waiting a year. We got him right here. What else do you want? Andy Reid's not going to get fired and come here. Or any other primetime Ben Johnson head coach either. This is probably as good as it gets right now. And and then there's Tomlin maybe, but he made the playoffs. I think he's safe. And we need him. Now, John Harbaugh in recent years technically has not had success totally to what he probably should have, especially in the postseason, 4-7 in the playoffs since he won that Super Bowl. But I mean, he gets you to the playoffs and he wins you some playoff games. He gets you to the top seeding. He gets you home playoff games, most importantly. And he can set and build a culture for the Miami Dolphins that has been much needed for forever. Probably since Shula, before I was alive. That's what we need. We need him. And look, there's other options, other teams that... Shit, what the hell was that? We have bombs going off in here because we need John Harbaugh. There's other teams that look better on paper as a better landing spot or a better, team that can persuade him of what they have for John Harbaugh to go to because he's a hot candidate. And all these opening spots, teams that need a head coach are going to go after him, of course. The Giants, Jackson Dart, got a quarterback already. It's much easier to start if you got your franchise quarterback. He looks good. The Falcons, that's an easy division that you could win possibly with a quick retool in his first season. There's teams like that. But then you can also make some cases for Miami. Now, these are probably delusional cases when you hear them. I'm not going to lie. Like, for example, Stephen Ross, old. He's willing to spend money. We already saw this. He's willing to spend money to get a winning team. Now, is there another owner that can do that? I wouldn't doubt it. There's probably a couple of owners from the pool of teams that need a head coach that will throw money at John Harbaugh and say, hey, we'll give you money to spend. You're allowed to spend as much money as you need to acquire the talent that you need to build a winning team eventually. There's also the teams like maybe he wants to get away from the Northeast and Northeast section. He doesn't want to go to the Giants. He wants to come down south. His daughter plays lacrosse, I believe, at USF. Miami, 4-hour drive. I'll drive you there if you want to. I'll take one for the team. Well, Tampa might be a better option in that case, of course, but they haven't yet to fire Todd Bowles. Yet. So, I don't know. And of course, there's probably going to be, I wouldn't doubt if there's other teams that come available for him now that he's available. You know, like Buccaneers case. Like I just said, Todd Bowles. I wouldn't doubt if he's going to get fired after John Harbaugh becoming available, because maybe they didn't see a head coach candidate worth going after for firing Todd Bowles, but now they do. Maybe the Bills, same thing with Sean McDermott. Lose against the Jaguars on Sunday, and now he becomes available. How McDermott comes available and the spot becomes open for Harbaugh. Or the Packers. That'll be something. Matt LaFleur, come to Miami, dude. Come to Miami. I'll give him a whole LeBron. I don't even know. We can't throw any rings on the table. They're rusted. You can't even see the 1972 on them. So, I mean, I don't know in that case. Never mind. Move on to the next point. John Harbaugh actually is scheduled to take his interviews next week, which supports my point that he might be waiting for playoff teams. He might be waiting for better options. You know, the Bills, we might have to root for the Bills this week so they can keep Sean McDermott and Harbaugh. They can't interview Harbaugh for the job. Even the Eagles maybe lose. The Steelers maybe lose. He might take Tomlin's job. I don't know. But now that John Harbaugh is available, it gives the Miami Dolphins, hopefully, Tom Garfinkel, Stephen Ross, Dumb and Dumber, Brandon Shore, the idiotic son-in-law, and the rest of the organization, whoever's there right now, some direction to move on and go get this head coach. Do whatever you want. And Omar Kelly bring up an interesting point right when he came available is, look, Miami Dolphins might look the sweetest destination on paper to be a head coach. But the front office, the GM, that's different. Maybe that's a promotion he'll be looking for. But then I also thought you can give him the Bill Belichick role. Yeah, he's a head coach. But why not? You can also have great influence over the trades and be sort of the general manager. I don't know. One more thing before I came on here, I was looking at the Dolphins released their final head coaching candidate. So now they're in the second phase. They want to call it with their fucking GM tracker they have on their website, trying to be transparent and shit, trying to give us some hope that we should not have. But one of the candidates that made it to the second phase is Chargers assistant GM Chad Alexander. He actually worked with the Ravens from 1999 to 2019, spending a large chunk of that time with John Harbaugh. He's now in LA with Jim Harbaugh. That's a connection. That's important. We get him as the GM. You think Mike McDaniel's staying while Jim Harbaugh's on the board? Fuck no. So, that's also something important. If we end up hiring Chad Alexander, he ends up acing his second interview, his in-person interview now, and he has influence, and he convinces John Harbaugh to come, and he convinces the Miami Dolphins organization that this is what we need to do to win, and if you're going to hire me, I need to do what we need to do to win. And you can go get Big John Harbaugh. Interesting. That's important. Other than that, hopefully the Miami Dolphins finally move off of fucking Mike McDaniel. And John Harbaugh is the new head coach, hopefully. If not, then we're just going to lose again next season. See you in the next one.